Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. Today I'd like to talk about an abstract topic related to martial art appreciation. I have already introduced the topic of aesthetic consumption in a prior video titled Xing Stepping, Conception and Imagery. The link is in the description. In that video, I claimed that the aesthetic orientation of Chinese traditional martial practice is about applying different forms of imagery. Aesthetic conception is also achieved through aesthetic appreciation in the mind created by projecting meaning into a scene. If you haven't watched that video, I recommend you watch it first and then resume this one. Furthermore, I also introduced the topic of Chinese aesthetic standard of physical movement in a prior video titled Internal Style Concepts number 10, Methodology Continued from Calligraphy to Martial Art. The link is in the description. The objective of both of those videos is to help you understand traditional methodology to appreciate the traditional martial practice based on the traditional standard. It is understandable, almost expected, that most of you will have a hard time understanding those concepts, especially those among you with little to no exposure to Chinese culture. These topics are very advanced. You may think that many people in China understand them. Well, that is not true at all. To the best of my knowledge, abstract concepts have never enjoyed popularity in any society, neither in the past, nor the present, nor perhaps the future. However, that is all the more motivation for me to talk about such topics. I strongly believe knowledge and understanding of these topics will benefit all serious practitioners of traditional internal styles. In fact, that will also help you gain an edge over practitioners who ignore such topics. Before we dive into today's topic, let me share a common misperception related to culture. You may have already acknowledged that it is not that easy for ordinary Chinese to appreciate a non-Chinese person demonstrating Chinese martial arts, especially the internal styles of martial art. I'm saying this at this moment to reflect the previous and the current situation. I'm optimistic that this will change in the future since there are quite a few good internal style practitioners outside of China with non-Chinese origins. I'm not talking about this with the intention to argue about whether Chinese people are biased. Instead, I'd like to reveal the factors behind this phenomenon and try to find a solution for it. It would be terrible to point out an issue and not offer any solutions. A quick disclaimer before I go any further. In this video, I do not mean to say that there are differences in practice caused on account of differences in race. In fact, I'm pointing out the cultural factors that contribute to martial practice. You may be wondering about the current situation of martial art practice in China. Well, I have to say that the situation is far from ideal. China today is totally different from China a century ago. Likewise, the way people appreciate any art has changed drastically as well. Change in society is usually accompanied by a change in its aesthetic standards. This change is also noticeable in the typical practice of the internal styles. As a result of such modernization, it is very rare to see practitioners whose practice can be considered high quality with respect to the traditional standard. In China, we use the term 凤毛麟角 to express the rarity of certain things. 凤 means phoenix, 毛 means feather, 麟 means 麒麟, a magical divine animal. jiao means horn. Put together, it means something as rare as the phoenix feather and the Qi Lian's horn. And the equivalent in English usage would be a unicorn. It is very rare to see high quality of internal practice since our lifestyle have changed in addition to changes in culture. So, what is the subtle differences between a high quality internal style practice and a low quality practice? For instance, in form demonstration. Well, very often it is about Qi Yun, a concept that I will introduce today. Topics covered in today's video include: first, further explanation of Qi; second, Qi Yun Sheng Dong; third, Qi Yun Sheng Dong in internal martial practice; fourth, principle of Qi Yun Sheng Dong; fifth, demonstration; sixth, correction of a student's practice; and seventh, takeaways. Again, the main topic today is both advanced and abstract. You may need to watch it more than once to understand it. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Topic 1. Further explanation of Qi. I have talked about the concept of Qi in many prior videos. To give you a quick idea, anything and everything can contain Qi. Qi is not limited to the power released in your martial movements, which is Fajin, to be precise. I have to say that not only is Qi the fundamental concept in Chinese philosophy, but more importantly, the concept of Qi, no matter explicit or otherwise, has been a part of Chinese daily life for thousands of years. In other words, it is not necessary for an ordinary Chinese person to know the clear definition of the term Qi, even though people use it almost every day. Qi is a term used both consciously and subconsciously, intentionally and unintentionally by Chinese people on a daily basis. Today, I'd like to introduce another aspect of Qi so that you will understand today's topic better. Zhuangzi, who lived from 369 BC to 286 BCE, was an important ancient Taoist philosopher, considered second only to Lao Tzu. In Zhuangzi's book, named after himself, he said, 人之生，气之具也. 人 means human, 之 means age, 生 means life, 气 means energy, 智 means age, 聚 means gathering. 也 is just a modal particle. Put together, it means that human life is the gathering of energy. In other words, life is just energy. In the same paragraph, Zhuangzi gave a further explanation of Qi. He said, 通天下一气耳. All sages master the principle of the universe through Qi. According to Zhuangzi, any tangible object in the universe is just a form of Qi. In other words, Qi is invisible by nature, but can be seen when it gathers together, since any tangible object in the universe is Qi. Also, any living entity in the universe is also created by the gathered Qi. In other words, life itself is from Qi. To summarize, Qi is the basic element of a living entity. Life is just a gathered form of Qi. Qi has life as well. This aspect of Qi having life can be hard for most of you to grasp. I will talk about this in a future video. So, who is an artist of the high level? I describe a high-level artist as someone who can express their feelings of Qi through their art. For example, a highly skilled painter should be able to express his artistic feelings through the brush strokes, shapes, and colors in their art. So, what is the term used to describe this approach? This approach is called 气韵生动, which brings us to the next topic. Topic 2. 气韵生动. I believe that appreciation and analysis of art is a great gateway into understanding a culture. So, I'd like to apply an ancient Chinese aesthetics principle to explain a unique cultural phenomenon. Then, I will explain its application in internal martial practice. Xie He, an Chinese art critic, historian, and painter, who lived approximately 1,500 years ago, wrote an article titled 古画品录, or The Record of the Classification of Old Painters. This article is considered the first theoretical work on Chinese painting, and almost all of the later generations of artists have taken it as a guiding principle in pursuit of artistic practice. In the first paragraph, Xie He talks about 绘画六法 in Chinese, or 6 principles of Chinese painting. The first of those 6 principles is 气韵生动, which is the main topic of today's video. 气韵生动 consists of 4 characters. The first character is qi, which has been introduced already. In painting, it is the artistic expression contributed by the artist through brush strokes, shapes, and colors, like I mentioned in the prior section. According to traditional art standards, a good painting is a tangible object which expresses intangible qi through an artistic format. So, qi is the key spirit of an artwork. It is the object. The second character is yun. Yun means harmonized sound, resonance, or sensation beyond physical nature. According to ancient Chinese art theory, yun is the audience perception of the art, or the feeling aroused in the audience by the art. For example, Huang Tingjian, a Chinese calligrapher, painter during the Song dynasty around 900 years ago, said that 书画以韵为主, or calligraphy and painting focus on expression of yun. Yun is the aesthetic experience of the subject. Together, 气韵 means the artistic experience of the audience created by the expression of qi. It is the interaction of object and subject which transcends the physical aspect of the work. Also, according to ancient Chinese art theory, artists should improve their inner cultivation beyond art itself in order to freely express qi yun through efforts in art like painting, calligraphy, movement, music, and so on. So, personal cultivation is the key element in improving the expression of qi yun through artwork. Qi yun has been perceived as a guiding principle to a martial artist in expressing the understanding of a martial practice through martial movements. I prefer to use the integration of Xing, Qi, Shen, or mind, qi, and spirit as basic elements in the expression of intangible qi yun through a tangible format. The third character is Sheng, which can be translated to lively or vivid. The fourth character is Dong, which means charm. Sheng Dong together can be translated to mean lively and charming experience of an art, or the result of qi yun on the audience. Some artists, such as Fang Daishan in the Qing dynasty, preferred to remove these 2 words and only use qi yun, since he believed that if there's a qi yun, then it would be Sheng Dong. So Sheng Dong is implied by qi yun, and it is unnecessary to express the effort of an art. To summarize, Qi Yun or energy and its resonance are formless and intangible. However, this formlessness and intangibility are based on form and tangibility. The experience of the subject, resonance, is based on the object, qi or energy. Qi Yun is the inner experience of the audience, which can only be improved through personal cultivation, which transcend the physical aspect of the art itself. So, how do you apply Qi Yun Sheng Dong to internal martial practice? That brings us to the next topic. Topic 3. Qi Yun Sheng Dong in internal martial practice. Earlier in this video, I mentioned the difference between an advanced level of practice compared to others, especially the difference between one who deeply understands Chinese culture and one who does not, will most likely be noticed when comparing two martial demonstrations. In my experience over the decades, it is mainly Qi Yun Sheng Dong that separates the two. The lack of Qi Yun in demonstration and practice is rooted in the practitioner's hitherto ignorance of Chinese culture. It is the main barrier of this issue. I hope my lecture will help you improve your understanding of the Qi Yun concept and apply it in your practice. Since Qi Yun is the foundation of Sheng Dong, and Sheng Dong would naturally occur in the presence of Qi Yun, I prefer to use Qi Yun in the rest of this video to explain this concept in the internal martial practice. As I have explained Qi Yun in the last section already, I'd now like to explain how to apply this concept in internal martial practice. First, application of Qi. In martial practice, any practice should follow the basic requirement of the style. It is the prerequisite for any advanced level practice. Modifying traditional practice as per your whims and fancies without a prior solid foundation will only limit your practice to a primitive or superficial level. So, the Qi aspect of a martial practice depends on the mastery of each style, especially the details in each movement. I always tell my students that subconscious mastery of each detailed movement is the indicator of a correct practice. The internal styles emphasize the concept of wholeness in practice. Wholeness is the result of a coordination between different body parts in each movement. Wholeness is also the foundation of the intangible martial imagery that expresses the personal understanding of your practice. So, understanding the specific pattern of different physical movements and executing each movement harmoniously will greatly improve your overall martial imagery, not only tangible, but more importantly, intangibly. So, how can you improve the Qi aspect in your practice? For now, there are 3 items that you can work on. First, change in direction. Second, speed, force, and energy breathing. Third, coordination between body parts. First, pay special attention when there is the change of direction in your movement. All of the 3 internal styles emphasize this aspect in practice. For example, Tai Chi practice involves the term 出奇在转关, or surprising skill lies in 转关. 转 means turning, 关 means gate. 转关 has many meanings in martial practice. A movement involving changing in direction is considered a 转关 situation. Second, when executing fast movements, pay attention to your force release. when executing slow movements, pay attention to your qi 呼吸 or energy breathing. I created this term to express the concept of a dynamic manifestation of energy flow. Advanced internal style practitioners can observe other people's energy breathing practice. It is a very advanced topic, and I will explain it more in the future. Last but not least, focus on movements or postures in which different parts of the body, such as two hands, are remotely 协调 or coordinated, or 关联 or coordinate or connected, if using the old Chinese martial term. Coordination between physically isolated movements toward executing a specific function is an opportunity to strengthen the qi aspect. Second, application of yun. Appreciation of martial practice may partially depend on the understanding and experience of the audience. A beginner's limited exposure to a martial arts and its appreciation may lead them to wrongly conclude an advanced level practice as a beginner, primitive, or vice versa. However, the martial spirit of a practitioner can almost without exception directly affect an audience experience. Unfortunately, many practitioners do not have a martial spirit in demonstration, which is the major reason why they lack yun in their practice. So, how can you improve the yun aspect in your practice? This would be a lot more challenging than the improvement of qi, but there are some easy steps you can take toward this. Variations of speed in demonstration according to the martial objective is a great starting point in improving your yun. Even though some styles focus on applying an even speed in practice, you should understand that even speed is just a part of practice and not the entire practice. Any martial movement requires execution at full speed to be effective in combat. So, adjusting speed in demonstration can help practitioners improve their yun. For this video, let's keep our focus on martial practice instead of going deeper into martial aesthetics itself. To explain further, I'd like to introduce another Chinese term, 雅俗共赏. 雅 means refined or scholar. 俗 means popular, layperson. 共 means both or all. 赏 means appreciate, suit or enjoy. Put together, it means something can suit all the taste or be admired by both the expert and the layperson. One standard to achieve an advanced level of yun is 雅俗共赏, since at the end of the day, an advanced level of martial practice should be appreciated by the majority of audiences. I will talk more about yun aspect in the future. In the interest of time, let's move on to the next topic. Topic number 4, principles of Qi Yun Sheng Dong. Now let me explain some principles of Qi Yun. First, internal style martial art is the integration of martial application and aesthetics. The aesthetics of the art lies in the beauty of its application for both combat and health. The application of the art contains and reflects its specific aesthetics. Yes, even though the internal martial art originally developed for survival and combat, in modern times, its function has evolved from mere survival and combat to also include other aspects like health, spiritual development, and others, depending on the practitioner's objectives. Therefore, you should not neglect any of the major benefits provided by the martial arts. Furthermore, being able to appreciate the aesthetics carried by a traditional internal style can really help you reach a higher level, since the aesthetics of an art reflects its original intended martial function. Qi Yun, an artistic standard that can be applied in the appreciation of internal martial practice, may seem new in the West, but it is not new to those who are familiar with traditional Chinese culture. Yes, this concept is not popular even in the martial art community in China, but that doesn't mean the West should also ignore it. So, I suggest that if you have enough knowledge, please pay more attention to the intangible aspect of the internal style practice, which potentially help you reach another new level. Any object, including the martial form, is built by qi or energy. So, an analysis and appreciation of a martial practice based on energy level is an advanced approach, which requires knowledge and experience. As long as you keep working on it, you will get it. Second, Qi Yun, a principle for a high-level practice, requires the integration of Xin, Qi, Shen, or mind, Qi, and spirit. I have intentionally not translated the word Qi here since the term Qi includes different aspects including movement, inner energy flow, both tangible and intangible. Qi, according to Zhuangzi, goes beyond the term energy. Energy emphasizes the intangible part more, which may not be that precise in expressing Qi Yun. I also intentionally added the word spirit to this point, since the spirit reflects the subconscious aspect of Qi Yun. The spirit is Qi as well, but it has a unique function that is different from the function of the mind. This is why I specifically added the term spirit in order to better explain Qi Yun. Spirit in this context can be defined as the integration of a martial application at the energetic level and your inner energy flow that supports the martial application. According to the Qi Yun concept, I define the mind as the messenger of the martial spirit that guides the body in the manifestation of martial movements. This can be narrowed down as the postnatal aspect of the mind in a martial context. So, managing the relationships between the mind, qi, and the spirit in expressing Qi Yun through movements requires each element of these three aspects separately in the first place. You should practice these three aspects gradually, simultaneously, and naturally until they become second nature. Third, any formlessness is based on form, and form is a result of accumulation and conversion of formlessness. Form, in this case, is not the typical routine which we also called form, for example, the linking form. Form, in this context, is the combination of your physical movement and the intangible elements. In other words, formlessness is the abstraction of a form. So, paying attention to formlessness does not mean you ignore form. Instead, you have to start from the form, then proceed toward formlessness, then further convert your formlessness into a better form. So, it's a feedback loop. Advanced practice should be built upon the basics. 4. Qi Yun transcends mere imitation. Be very careful here that it is impossible to achieve Qi Yun with mere imitation. Furthermore, imitation will in fact limit you from achieving Qi Yun. Understanding Qi Yun helps you know what you will practice at the advanced level, but it does not help you much if you are a beginner. So, you should not try to apply Qi Yun before reaching a good level. By the term good level, I mean a level at which you can express your martial understanding through demonstration. For example, if you cannot even memorize the routine and the forms, then you should first focus on form practice. Only after the movement becomes your second nature should you pay attention to Qi Yun. Advanced topics are very often abstract. Principles of an abstract topic requires even more contemplation to understand. Also, you require more time and effort to test the principle with physical practice, or else it will remain at the abstract level and you won't gain any tangible benefit. Of course, there are many more principles for Qi Yun, which I will talk about in the future. Topic 5. Demonstration. Today, I'd like to demonstrate an exercise from Cheng style Bagua. This exercise is used to improve flexibility. The name of the movement is Wu Long Zuan Tian, or Black Dragon Flies to Sky. Hello, today I'd like to demonstrate one Bagua exercise to improve flexibility. Okay, you can start from here, then bend, move up, then again, right? Then make circle, then fist, then again, then one. Topic 6. Correction of students' practice. Hello, I'd like to ask my students to demonstrate the second big palm of the Cheng style 8 palm, which is the double changing palm. Then I correct his movement. Okay, now you can start. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. 5, 6. Okay, 7. Then turn. Very good. Most of the movement is good. There's no major mistake. So now still need to improve a little bit. So you can start from beginning. When I say stop, you stop. Okay, let's start from beginning. 1, 2. Okay, now the second movement. 1, then the elbow should keep moving. Then second movement. 2, then 3. Then look at when you do the movement 3, look at the left side. Then 4. Yes, then. Yes, continue. Then the palm move along the rib cage area, then thigh, then push. Right. Then when you push, the weight on the back leg. Right. Then push forward. Very good. Then slowly, then slowly. Yes. Thank you. Very nice. Topic 7. Takeaways. First, further explanation of Qi. Qi is the basic elements of a living entity. Life is just a gathered form of Qi. Qi has life as well. Second, Qi Yun Sheng Dong, or just Qi Yun, is the concept that energy and its resonance are formless and intangible. However, this formlessness and intangibility are based on form and tangibility. Third, Qi Yun Sheng Dong in martial practice. I point out that the lack of Qi Yun in demonstration and practice is the root cause of poor martial performance. Fourth, principles of Qi Yun Sheng Dong. First, internal style martial art is the integration of martial application and aesthetics. Second, Qi Yun, a principle of high-level practice, requires the integration of Xin, Qi, Shen, or mind, Qi, and spirit. 3. Any formlessness is based on form, and form is the result of accumulation and conversion of formlessness. 4. Qi Yun transcend mere imitation. Also, do not forget the demonstration and the student correction sections. That brings the end of today's video. Thanks for watching, see you next time, and enjoy your practice.